Now, the Bram Weinstein Show on Washington's new home for sports, ESPN 630.
Hey, babies. Hey, babies, hey, babies, hey, babies. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Happy Tuesday. What's up? It was Nats tonight, hon.
Nice Nats hat.
It's, I didn't mean to wear it. Can't believe I did.
Sucker.
I know. I threw it on this morning. I wasn't going to. I have hair that I have to do now. And I didn't feel like doing it this morning. I'm still kind of getting over weekend one. Mm-hmm. And just threw it on, walked out of the house, didn't realize where I was coming, and knew I was going to get in trouble for wearing it today.
I'm going to grill you a little bit on it.
I want to wear it sideways because it's my American University Nats hat.
Good gimmick by the Nats that they do that with all the colleges. But yeah, you're wearing a Nats hat when they're playing the O's.
Yeah, whoops. Yeah, listen, I mean, sometimes your ex-girlfriend leaves something at your house, just...
You don't wear it. Stop it. There's
the girlfriend, if the girlfriend takes your favorite sweatshirt and ends up keeping it after the breakup, she might wear it.
Yeah, that's true, but it's not...
She might.
It's something a girl leaves that the guy wears.
Or she cuts it up. Or she burns it.
She could.
Puts that video up on Instagram, show everybody how over you she is.
That's a little much.
Like I said... we're not broken up forever. We're just broken up for now. And
I know, but I like to make fun of you because the signs are already back.
No.
You don't see the curly W and get disgusted.
Here's the thing. Like, tonight and tomorrow night, they're playing each other. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tweet anything about it. I'm not going to make any comments about it. That's right, I'm not.
You're not going to watch a single pitch.
Not a second of it.
Not that either one's important. The Orioles played themselves out.
Second of it.
Played themselves out of the wild card.
I will be rewatching Commanders Jacksonville tonight.
Okay,
and maybe, if I have time, watching Lions Eagles, which I haven't done yet because I need to start getting ready to see if they're any good or not.
That's right.
Where are we going? To the landfill this weekend? I don't know. Go to the landfill.
Dan Campbell, when we were listening to before the show, said, well, if we played them again, I think we'd play much better.
Well, too bad you can't play them again.
Thanks for that, Dan.
He said that?
Yeah, it was something along the lines of I don't want to take it totally out of context, but he was like, I feel if we played them again, we'd play really great because we watched the film and he goes, we watched the film and they saw everything we were preaching all week in practice. And I was like, wait, you mean they didn't listen to you in the first week of practice for the first game of the season, Dan?
Let me just read scores to you from this weekend. Saints 27, Falcons 26. Bears 19, 49ers 10. Steelers, Bengals go to overtime, field goal difference. Eagles beat Lions by 3. Dolphins beat the Patriots. That's funny. 20-7. The Ravens one was the chalkiest thing of all of it, but it was the only one that felt actually predictable at all. The Commanders win by 6 and need 2 late touchdowns to win. The Browns have a topsy-turvy, crazy game, win at the buzzer anyway, 26-24. The Colts and Texans tied. That also is very funny.
Yeah, that's a little of a shocker.
Yeah, Giants win in Tennessee by a point.
Thought that was a shocker.
The two, I think, statement wins were the Vikings over the Packers and the Chiefs just thumping Arizona. The Chargers-Raiders game was lower scoring than anybody would have thought, but it was close. Everybody would have expected that. The Buccaneers-Cowboys game was weird, and the Seahawks won last night. So, the reality is, I was talking about this last week because everybody thinks, people should blow people out. Not in this league.
Yeah.
This isn't, this is not the Arkansas State plays in Columbus situation. It's not that. The games are all close. Most of them are close. That's the reality of it.
Should actually scare you with how bad the Bills beat the Rams.
Right. Bills beat, what?
Spotted them 4 turnovers.
Yes. I know. Well, that's why I said,
my God.
After last Thursday, I'm like, I don't even know why we're having a season. Those guys are beyond operational. Because the Rams are not that bad. Yeah. That's impossible. And they had a million mistakes and one going away anyway. It was no problem.
Yep.
So they're by far the best team. But for everybody else, welcome to the reality of what this league is. And this is why today, people are going to overreact and feel like, man, we're in a different stratosphere. And you know what? Some of those scores that get wacky tend to come in the middle of the season when injuries start piling up or team had a bye and the other team didn't. And that's why it matters when you play teams and all that stuff. So I'm just pointing that out because look how many of these games. The Falcons easily could have won. The Bears did win. The Steelers beat the Super Bowl team from the AFC on the road after their best defensive player got hurt in the middle of it. The Bills thumped the Super Bowl champions. The Lions woulda, coulda, shoulda won. The Commanders won a very close game. The Browns, Panthers, who knew? The Texans got a tie over a team that's telling me they're going to be the 2 seed this year. The Giants won at the 1 seed from last year.
Yep.
And the Seahawks beat Russ. And that was hilarious.
Stupid.
When he showed up in that dumb neon green tuxedo, I went, oh, you know what now? Now I'm not even rooting for him. I can't even believe he did that.
Did you see the Monday countdown crew of him taking it in, air quotes, at midfield?
No.
I gotta send you the video of this.
Did they make fun of him for doing this, or no?
But it was the stupidest video ever. He literally went to the Seahawks logo at the 50-yard line and kind of open palmed his hands out and closed his eyes.
Oh God!
And was just Lord.
Honestly,
for lack of a better description, he looked like he was Jesus trying to rise up to heaven. And was just kind of slowly moving around. And I was like, you are the corniest player in the league. The corniest player in the league. And I was torn because I kind of don't like Seahawks fans, but I also kind of hate Russ. So I was stuck in a rock and a hard place last night. But he's so easy to root against.
I mean, here's what you don't hear too often, too. The Seahawks didn't score in the second half and won. They didn't score in the second half and
yeah,
won.
You're right. Yeah, I watched the whole game. It was thrilling. It was a thrilling game because of the turnovers. But yeah.
Russ was actually good in his debut. It was 29 to 42, 340, a touchdown. They fumbled on the 1 yard line.
Twice.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Twice.
Right. So, if I'm them, I'm not overly worried. But we did get the first, what the hell are you thinking of the year? What convinced you that you should run the clock all the way down and kick a 64-yard field goal by choice?
Yeah. Yeah.
What in the... There's... Here we go. It's somebody who doesn't understand math. It was unbelievably stupid. Even if the guy made it, which would have won the game, I would have still been that was an idiotic risk to try to actually do that. Mm-hmm. If he did it in Denver, I'll hear him out a little more about it.
Yeah, of course.
Just because of the elevation. And just because it's the home crowd, and I would still think it's a dumb attempt, 64. But when you have timeouts and there's about a minute on the clock, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Why are you doing that? And why would you not let Russ try to make a play at this point? Especially I know you're not thinking about the context of the story I'm trying to write the next day, but he gets to be the hero if he converts the 4th and 5, gets you close enough to take a reasonable field goal. And why would you put that on your kicker? I don't care how good he is. That's a stupid ask of somebody. What was his range in pregame? I bet you didn't even try one from 64. Why would you?
It would have been tied for the second longest field goal in NFL
if it was
history.
4th and 5 at that spot and there's 3 seconds to go in the game, what the hell? Run the kicker out there.
Sure.
Take a shot. Maybe you get lucky. You probably don't, but I'd rather that over a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
For sure, right? But with a minute left and multiple timeouts, and then you run the clock. Come on, dummy. What are you doing? You have an all-world quarterback that you just gave $500 million to. What are you doing?
The best was the reaction of both broadcasts. So Joe Buck and Aikman are kind of what's going on here?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
It's confusing.
And he misses it, and Joe Buck pulls no punches and goes, yeah, they used a lot of time right there. I have no idea what the Broncos were thinking.
That's right.
And just kills him. Okay.
Yes.
Then I watched it later. The Manning cast were losing their minds.
That was funny.
It was 105, and Peyton's all right, so you probably got to call a timeout.
Call a timeout,
here.
Get a good play.
Get a good play off. And Eli's going, all right, I think they've let enough time go off.
Yeah.
And Peyton is what are they doing?
Yeah.
And he's making the timeout motion with his hands.
Yes.
And then Eli dropped in the dumb Eli look like his jaw dropped on the broadcast. And they're like, what are they doing? It was amazing.
It was as idiotic as I've ever seen of anything. I mean, every year we get this in a number of games.
Yeah.
And sometimes things are happening, to Joe Buck's credit, things are happening that you just don't understand.
Yeah.
I had one of these. We had 2 of them. The last 2 years in the finale, we've had inexplicable things happen that was impossible to explain. Like when Sudfeld came in the middle of the third quarter in a 1-score game with the division on the line, I remember just looking around going, how do I even, unless Hurts is hurt, how do I even come up with any kind of explanation over why they would do that in that moment? And then last year, I'll never forget, when the Giants went into we're literally not going to run a play from inside our 5-yard line in the second quarter of a game so that we could punt from our own end zone because we're so scared to turn the ball over. I was watching it, and just the wheels are moving because you're like, I think that's what they're doing. I can't believe they're doing that. I've never seen a professional football team do that, that they're scared to run an actual offensive play. Like, they think, like, I've seen plenty of teams just go, run it up the middle, run it up the middle, run it up the middle, try to get some yardage, and will punt if they're scared of their passing game. I've never seen a team take a knee inside the 5 in the second quarter of a game, scared to run any offensive play whatsoever. And I remember sitting there going, is that what I think is going to happen? And then it does, and you're like, wow, I've never seen that before. And last night, I was with all of them watching the end of this game going, what are you idiots doing?
Right.
Like, why would you not take a timeout immediately and talk about it? Do you want to go for it? Do you want to kick? We have a lot of time left here. Russ would probably convince them to do this. And my favorite was they had to go to Russ and be like, did you agree with that? And because it's game 1 with his new coach, after he signed a massive contract, he had to say yes. Yep. He had to say yes, he agreed with it. Oh, it's the best.
I'm going to guess Sierra heard something different when he got home.
Let me tell you, right. Like, if he's still in Seattle and just total backwards, and they do the same thing, do you think he agrees with Pete Carroll doing something like that?
God, no.
No.
What I actually really didn't understand was, okay, if it was 4th and 10, and it's a 63-yard field goal or 64-yard field goal, I'm like, all right, you know what? 4th and 10, low percentage. It was 4th and 5. They needed 5 yards.
5 yards.
Like, that's what I really actually don't understand about all of it. Because if it's 4th and 10, 4th and 15, your chances are pretty low. All right, I'll hear you out all day. You're probably not making either one. But it was 4th and 5, and you have a quarterback that does run the ball.
Hello.
And you have an all right
You don't
running
have
back.
Drew Lock anymore. Yes. He's on the other sideline.
Correct. Like, it could not be hard to drop a play to get 5 yards.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Jared Judy was catching balls all day. Like, he did score one, but like he was catching balls all day, and you couldn't just toss one up to him. Like,
normally, the analytics people weigh in very quickly too, and I didn't see any in my feed last night because I was looking for them to go.
Yeah.
You know, the odds of them making the 64-yard field goal as opposed to completing a pass or converting on a 4th and 5 is X versus X, and it probably would have been. You know, they got a 60% chance or a 50% chance of converting, and they got a 3% chance of making that field goal.
Right.
And, I mean, I know they're not supposed to think about this in the moment, but you do, I think, and I think this goes back to before everyone started to go, they finally believed the math on going for it on 4th down more often, because now teams do it all the time. It's a total regular practice. At the time, Riverboat Ron became a gambler because he went for 4th and 2s all the time, and the analytics people for years were going, that's what you're supposed to do.
Look at the Jags. Jags did it against them the other day.
You're supposed to go for these downs. You have a much greater chance of scoring touchdowns as opposed to field goals. The field goals have the same odds of going through the uprights and giving you the points in the first place. It doesn't change your arc of potentially winning. Like, just let the math speak for you here and do this. He got this reputation of being a gambler for doing it. Doug Peterson was actually got a reputation of being a gambler for doing it. Now everybody does it, and nobody thinks about it at all. This reminds, it's just constant. Every year somebody needs to hire a time management coach, an analytics-driven time management coach, because that guy, listen, they may not have converted on 4th and 5, and then they would have lost. But I would have rather, if I'm him, walking in after the game going, we put the ball in Russ's hands. We thought the field goal was a little too long to try, and we really just thought we were confident we were going to make a play and get closer so that we could take a field goal that we felt was manageable. It just didn't happen. We'll go get him next time. Instead of this, where he has to explain, I didn't trust my offense to get 5 yards to continue a drive with a minute to go and multiple timeouts. I thought we're better served trying a field goal that has no chance of going in.
Well,
it's just, how do you not for a second go, how am I going to answer that question? How am I going to answer that question? If he doesn't make it, how am I going to answer that question?
The thing is that you got wrong on all of that is nobody would have questioned it if he went for it on fourth and down.
Of course not. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
No one would have.
Yeah, exactly. If they went for it on fourth down, everyone would have been like, well, he had to.
Yeah, right.
And then if they convert, awesome. And if they don't, at least he could walk in there and go, we needed to get a conversion. It didn't happen. We'll go get him next time. But we weren't going to try a preposterous field goal to try to win. And run all the clock all the way down.
The whole narrative in Seattle.
So dumb.
The whole narrative in Seattle for 3 years was let Russ cook.
Yeah.
And here we are, one game in, and they're not letting Russ cook in Denver.
No. And that is a first-year head coach move of all first-year. And this goes back to, I don't know why teams, they spend all this money on all these other things. What would a time management coach buy you?
Right.
Let's just say you pay. What would you pay him if I told you this person is potentially going to win you a game by managing the clock right, or more importantly, prevent you from doing astronomically stupid things like that team did at the end of the game and prevent you from losing? How much is that worth? Is that $1 million a game?
Mm-hmm. Right.
What's a game worth? Because you know what? Most of these games, as exemplified by the scores I just read, are close. It doesn't matter that one team is heavily favored or that team supposedly sucks. In the beginning of the NFL season, you don't know what you're going to get in any of these games. If these two play each other in week 8, you'll see they're going to be in very different places and there may be a very different outcome. But in week 1, come on. And what are you doing? Did you forget you had Russell Wilson? What happened, man? Rodgers thank God I didn't go there. Oh, thank God.
It also was the ultimate Russell Wilson, coin flip because they ran the ball 2 times at the 1 yard line and then fumbled both times when they ran the ball at the 1 yard line. That guy can't win in any way, shape, or form.
No. Nope. So anyway, next week, who are they playing, Denver? Let me see real quick.
I think it's
Texans.
Yeah.
Home.
Yeah.
Blowout.
Yeah. They're gonna kill him.
Kill him.
Yep.
Gonna kill him. I just know how this goes.
Yeah, right.
You're gonna kill him. I mean, they'll win by, you know what? Maybe not. They'll win by 10. They'll win by at least 10. They'll win by 2 scores. They'll win by 2 scores. Then we'll see where they are.
We talked this long.
That's actually the perfect team for them to get next week, because if they played a good team and just lost because they're playing a good team, things could go whoops the wrong way fast on them.
Of course.
They need the course correction. They'll feel good about themselves. They're going to play the Texans at home. They're going to win. They lose that one. Oh, daddy. That Russ thing's going to go south fast. They lose the first 2. Because then they get the Niners, Raiders, Colts, Chargers back to back to back to back.
Ooh. Do like that.
Yeah.
I will say this. Congrats to Geno Smith.
He actually had really good numbers. Well, he had good completion numbers.
He was okay, but he was a game manager.
He had under 200 yards, but it was 19 of 21 or something like that. Yeah.
And he had one of the best lines I've ever heard in the post-game interview. He said, "People wrote me off, and I didn't write them back." And that is old school rap lyric. That was awesome. And of course, today, breaking T already has the shirts printed up with his signature on it.
Good for him.
I felt good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Because honestly, he was the unnecessary punching bag of the offseason in terms of Seattle, they got Geno Smith and Drew Lock. They suck, And here he is. He comes out and he beats their former quarterback. I felt good for him. I like a feel-good story in week 1. And that was one of them.
Go back to something I said earlier. They won, but they didn't score in the second half.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's all.
No, of course. No, I'm not. They scored on the first drive.
He was fine.
No, they scored on the first drive.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the only touchdown of the game.
Yeah, that's it.
So, good for them.
Good for you.
But, yeah.
I read this for you. This is amazing. Cam Newton almost went to Virginia Tech.
Oh, stop it.
He revealed this to Eli Manning. The star free agent quarterback was alongside fashion icon Tim Gunn.
Okay.
And they joined Eli Manning for Eli's Places, which is one of the new ESPN Plus Omaha production things. So they're not just doing the Monday Night Football mega Manning cast now. They have all sorts of other stuff going on.
Did you see the promotional video for that, by the way? They put him in a hot dog stand in New York City.
Is that what they did?
In a truck. And so he was giving out hot dogs. And somebody was like, "Am I supposed to know who you are?" He's like, I'm Eli Manning. I have a show coming on. And they go, am I supposed to know who that is? They didn't know it was Eli Manning.
No.
And they didn't have no idea. So, anyways.
Let's see. He wanted to go to Virginia Tech, he says, because of the color of the uniform. That's why he wanted to go there.
What?
He said he liked their colors, the maroon and orange collaboration. He said, I didn't
Why didn't he come here then?
Because he said he didn't get an offer from
Oh
them.
my God!
Yes. He said, he goes,
What are we doing?
He said he was hoping to get recruited by Oregon, which never happened.
Okay.
He said this is crazy too. He said he was interested in Hawaii because of the dark green and black uniforms that they wear.
Wow.
And then he said he didn't really go too crazy about playing in the SEC because he doesn't like their fashion. And the truth is, like, who does look good from the SEC? They look classic, you know? Alabama looks classic. Georgia looks classic. Ole Miss looks really classic. They've gone full, like, their jerseys could be straight out of 1950.
He clearly loves orange because he went to Florida and then to Auburn.
Correct.
Huh.
Yes.
When he says fashion, though, I think he means the actual, like, on-campus vibe. I think that's what he means.
So then they did a fashion show of college uniforms because of this. They showed somebody in a Penn State uniform, and Newton was like, no accessories. They need a wristband or something. It's not good.
All right.
Then Tim Gunn, who's a fashion expert, is sitting there too and critiquing all of the uniforms.
All right, that's fantastic.
Said, I wish it had a little bit more flair.
Okay.
Not like 15 pieces of flair, but you know, just some.
To be fair, Penn State is literally navy with white numbers and names, no trim. It's very basic.
This is an interview that I'm not sad I missed. I'm glad I'm reading about now, but I'd be watching at the time going, what are we doing here exactly?
That's what the Manning cast is for, though. Or for
Eli's
place is for, though.
So they knew he was going to say this because they had this set up, right? So they knew he was going to say that. So had Virginia Tech wanted Cam Newton, he would have played for them because he liked the colors of the uniform. This is like in my horse racing world when my friends see the gray horse and go, I want that one. And I'm like, why? Well, he's the gray horse.
So it was already that like Frank Beamer couldn't recruit, but was slipping when it came to recruiting. He kind of got the Gary Williams treatment a little bit down there at the end because he's a legend and you don't want to cut the legend go, and they let him.
He didn't want to work that hard to recruit anymore.
Well, it was just like you lose your touch because it just gets harder and harder as the years go on, and now it's really hard to recruit.
Yeah.
That's
the hard part.
This probably screams of you didn't just shoot the guy an offer to shoot him an offer.
Yeah.
You can't just make room for Cam Newton, who was the top recruit at Florida, then to Auburn.
Yeah. Well, he's even saying like he would have gone there before he even went to Florida is what he was insinuating. Like he wasn't even just insinuating playing like after the Florida thing, because if you forgot, he got caught with something, stealing a computer or something like that, and then he ended up going to junior college. That's when he went to Auburn after that.
Right.
Of course, he was already in the SEC at that point, right?
Let's just check to see who the quarterback was on Virginia Tech in 2007, because I feel like
it was not Michael Vick.
All right, I do have a little bit of a excuse here why they might not have offered it to Cam Newton. That same year, they got Tyrod Taylor.
Okay. Well, then maybe that's why.
That's why. They got their actual quarterback.
It really, for Tyrod, it could have been the first of, guess what, your future.
Well,
this is what your future will be.
Well, you got to remember.
You will consistently see the guy behind you taking your job.
You got to remember
for
Tyrod,
a variety of reasons. And that guy's here because he likes the colors of the jersey.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You got to remember Tyrod, too, didn't even start. Sean Glennon and him split snaps, like, on drives.
Uh-huh.
So, like, from the beginning, he wasn't even the starter anyways. But to be fair, they got a top 5 quarterback in their school's history.
I mean, listen, I'm not... who am I to question his fashion sense? Because I clearly don't have anything even close to him. But I will say this. When I think fashionable college, I don't think Virginia Tech. No offense. I like their uniforms.
Unique.
I think they're fine.
Else really has it.
Yeah, but, like, I don't look at that and go, boy, that's hot. Like, that's not the first thing that comes out of my mouth. Like, ooh, those guys look amazing.
It is the same sense of the Commander/Redskins/football team. Yeah. It's a unique colorway, but yes. I'm with you. It is not.
Well, I think, like, in fairness, like, the Cowboys look good.
Yeah, right.
They look good.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers look good. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just a good look. I think the Raiders look really good.
Sure.
I think our uniforms are sleek, but I'm not sitting there going, Milan, when I look at them. And Virginia Tech the same way. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, they're fine.
You don't think, they're screaming and yelling that the Packers uniforms look so good?
The Packers do look good. But maybe I like the classic. Maybe I like the classic. That's what it is.
They don't look good. You're just used to them.
Classic.
If anybody rolled out a yellow and green uniform, they'd be killed.
So like this is where like I disagree. Like I'll hear him out on like Penn State's kind of plain looking, but they also look like a classic.
No. Yeah, so I agree with you on Penn State.
Like I like Penn State. Like I think I'm not sitting there running around going, that's what I'd wear at Coachella. But like for football, I'm like, that's classic look. Alabama's got a classic look. Georgia's got a classic look. Like I hope they don't ever change it and make the Bulldog like fly out of the air like the Patriot. I don't want to see that.
Flying Bulldog.
Yeah, the Flying Bulldog.
Pretty good, actually.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so you almost had Cam Newton. How about that? Almost.
Tyrod's a nice consolation prize. I mean, like, I understand what happened there.
That guy won the Heisman Trophy.
For sure. No, you don't know what you don't know. But in 2007, if you're going Cam
Tyrod
Newton...
was fine.
Tyrod's the second best quarterback in school history. I'm just saying, like, if it was, Marcus Vick that we had instead of him, I'm kind of losing my mind a little more today.
I will tell you though, like just the perception of Virginia Tech, if they had Michael Vick and Cam Newton play there,
we would have been.
See, like now you start talking about this is where the really great quarterbacks go, right?
Yep.
Because I think everyone knows that Michael Vick went there initially. He's from that region.
Of course. Yeah.
So that's a big, not, saying that's the only reason. I'm sure there's a lot of reasons why he went, but like, that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
If they had actually got a guy who didn't grow up there to go there, now all of a sudden you're like USC with quarterbacks, and they're like, why do all the quarterbacks want to play there?
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to ask them.
Right.
Just missed. Glad you're happy with Tyrod. Just missed.
I'm just saying it could be worse.
All right, we got an update on Dak Prescott. We'll do that next. Bray Weinstein Show, ESPN 630, Sports Capital.
The Baltimore Ravens are on ESPN 630.
And with 1:17 left to play, the Hayes in the board.
Listen to all Ravens broadcasts right here on 630 AM, the ESPN 630 app, or ESPN630DC.com.
It wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty. But it was the Ravens.
Fired up, and coach called my number, and I just went for it.
DC's home for the Baltimore Ravens.
on 3, 1, 2, 3.
ESPN 630, the sports capital.
All right, welcome back. They've changed their tune on Dak Prescott's availability, and it sounds like the potential of him playing us in a few weeks now. Jerry Jones, who initially told the media about him going on IR, which is great and unusual all at the same time because most owners don't do this, but he was the first. He was the one being tweeted out Sunday night where he's the one who's told the media this is what's going to happen. I guess he went through a surgery, and then Jones, on one of his many sports radio appearances, said today that they're not going to put him on IR and that they think he might be playing within the next 4 games. Had they put him on IR, he would have to miss a minimum of 4, and then you could bring him back by the new IR rules. So they're going to have him on the roster, deactivate him. So that means, they only had one backup quarterback on the roster, which means they need to bring another one up. And Dak's going to stay on it. So they're going to have to drop a person to make this happen, to keep him up there with the hope of him playing over the next 4 games. So we'll see. And that stinks of he might be the quarterback when we play them in 3 weeks. At least that's what they're hoping for.
I don't think so. I think he actually had said the Titans was probably going to be the first game.
So that means he would be deactivated for 3.
Right.
Because if he doesn't play in that 4th one, it's going to be stupid that they didn't put him on IR and just keep the roster spot for somebody else.
Because you really got to think about it like this. Like, he could be recovered, then he's got to start throwing again.
Yeah.
He's going to take him some time.
Washington did this last year with Brandon Sheriff, where in the middle of the year, they didn't put him on IR. And they knew he was going to miss at least a couple of weeks, but the thought was he'd come back, and then he didn't.
Yeah, for what, like 6 weeks?
Yeah,
Wasn't it a while?
he didn't. So he just kept being inactive, and we're like, you could have just put him on IR for 4 weeks and brought him back up and saved a roster spot. It doesn't hurt you. Anyway, so that's what they're trying to do here. He's clearly not going to play this week. Didn't sound like they were making it sound like he'd play next week, but then that's us after that. So we'll see.
I don't think they're playing him. I don't think so.
Well, we'll see. He said if we thought he wasn't going to be ready to go after 4 games, we'd put him on IR, but we're not doing that. We think he can come in and play, so we don't want to not have him out there practicing. We want him getting prepared, and we'll see how he handles this thing, how he heals, mainly his strength, how he can grip the ball, what his status is. It's not being an optimist. It's proof we got a good surgery.
All right.
This is his thumb on his throwing hand.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. I mean, if it was his other hand, I wouldn't, think much of it. I'd be like, yeah, he probably will play. Like, they probably had to do a surgery, and they can't let him play for a week or two because they don't want to, risk it getting worse again or re-injuring it. But because it's on his throwing hand, okay.
If you've ever had a surgery,
throw the ball in an NFL game in 3 weeks?
If you ever had a surgery involving your hands?
Yeah, I had one on my wrist.
Yeah, right.
It still hurts.
Yes, right.
I had it before training camp. Yeah. It still hurts.
Let alone one that's on your thumb. Good luck. Yeah. Good luck, guys. Good luck.
He also said that they are not, at this point, considering getting a veteran quarterback in there.
All right.
That they're going to go with Cooper Rush and Will Grier. Okay. Hey, that's what they said they're doing.
Taylor Heineke has more experience than both of those guys combined.
As a reminder, they got the Bengals this week, coming off a loss. It's at home. Then they go on the road to play the revamped New York Giants. Dak probably doesn't play in that. So that suddenly is a very different game that he's not playing in that. They'd be a 10-point favorite. Now with Cooper Rush going, that's going to look different. Then they get us, so we'll see. And he's saying he's going to be back within 4 games, which means they would have him play at the Rams. They go back-to-back at Rams, at Eagles.
Oof.
Mm-hmm. Like, they could death spiral here. They could. Like, he's not playing this week.
What a shame.
What a shame. He's not playing this week. 0-2, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm with you.
Then they go to the Giants, of which I don't know. But without him, that's a completely different game now.
Right.
With him, I'm like, they go 0-2, whatever, they'll win. Like, they're going to have to, and they'll win. I don't know now. Now I don't know. Then they get us, which I hope we bring up some of the crap they did a year ago, because I wouldn't mind, taking advantage of them, especially if he's not going to play, and reminding them that what they did was childish and petty last year. And I don't mind childish and petty when it's on the other end of it.
Right.
And then they go at Rams, at Eagles, and at that point they're saying he will be off of IR and he will be available to play. And maybe they looked at that little 2-game stretch and went, if he ain't playing there, we might as well pack up the season. Because you think Cooper Rush is going to SoFi and winning?
No.
Do you think he's turning around flying across the country to go to Philadelphia and winning? Because I don't.
No, neither do I.
Oh. Do they survive? They get a couple breaks after that, and then they go back-to-back at Green Bay, at Minnesota.
Good luck with that one, too.
I've been telling you all along, I'm very confident this team ends up in the playoffs one way or the other, mainly because of the NFC.
Right.
That there are some teams that, some of them won this week, like Chicago, Seattle, New York, that I don't think are going to end up having very good records. I don't see 17 games of any of those teams being particularly good, right? But then there's also the candidates for death spirals, and they're at the top of the list with everything they've done in the offseason, how the media's talking to them and McCarthy. Now they've just had a rash of bad luck. Losing their left tackle, losing their quarterback for a month of the season when the schedule's not favorable to start with for them. They could death spiral. They death spiraled 2 years ago. They look like they could do it again. And if a team like that is essentially eliminated from contention, well, the path now gets, you got to be in the top 7 of what's a viable 9 or 10 team conference. The odds are just in your favor that you're going to end up in the playoffs.
Right.
Everybody wants to throw parades around here now. Jahan Dotson's up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Off of what?
Favorite to win Rookie of the Year now.
Uh-huh.
I have more injury news for you, by the way. It just broke. TJ Watt does not need surgery, so he's expected to miss 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
Yep.
That's good news for them.
Good for him.
Yeah, that's good for them. One other Cowboys thing, if you saw the replay of Leonard Fournette leaping into Micah Parsons to block him, it was a launching block where he and Fournette is, depends which internet source you read, he's either 230 pounds or 320 pounds.
Right.
But either way, actually, like he's enormous. He clearly isn't, by the way.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for him now because he went through Fat Lenny for the entire summer. And they were like, this guy eats way too much Five Guys. It was like basically what they were saying about him. And then I saw him the other night and I'm like, he looks the same to me.
Looks pretty cut, yeah.
He looks all right to me. I don't know if you saw the clip of him blocking Parsons.
I did, yeah.
But he did one where Parsons comes off the edge and he kind of walks up to him and does the leaping up launch with his shoulder and tagged him.
He chips him, but he chips
hard.
him real hard. About as hard a chip
hard.
as you'll see. Like, I guess the best way to describe it would be Clinton Portis-esque. Because when Clinton Portis would chip guys, he'd hit the crap out of them.
So I don't know who it was. It was a prominent player who tweeted something like that should be illegal.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. It was either Richard Sherman or somebody prominently who was like, this should be illegal. Todd Bowles was asked about it. And he goes, it's a legal hit. And you know what? I don't know. Like, I don't think that I didn't see anything wrong with it, actually.
No, he didn't go after his knees or anything like that.
Had he hit his helmet into his helmet, I think I would have been like, that's not good.
But like shoulder pad to a guy's chest and shoulders. Welcome to football, man.
When someone says that should be illegal, why exactly? You should what? So you have to block him in standard blocking form. You have to block that guy every single time and let him run you over? Is that what's supposed to happen?
I'd also ask, at what point do you want football to not be football?
Yeah, that one
Some things are just part of the game.
I'm willing, off of the Logan Thomas injury a year ago and the same block that we saw on Kayvon Thibodeau in the preseason, where that low below the knee thing, and it ended up blowing out Thomas's knee, and it nearly blew out Thibodeau's knee.
Yep.
I'd like the competition committee to look at that because it's just dangerous.
Yeah.
I know it's legal, but it's dangerous. What Fournette did might be considered dangerous, but felt very legal and felt very welcome to the NFL.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you rush the passer every single time. You might get hit back.
Right. Exactly. And
you don't like that?
He had 2 sacks in the game, dude. You're gonna get tagged.
At some point, he's supposed to just be allowed to run free constantly? No. You're gonna have to do things to slow him down because you want to win. Right. I don't think Fournette did anything wrong.
No, I agree.
All right. Take a quick break. I want to revisit the mug for a minute. Brave Watch the Show, ESPN 630, Sports Capital. So on the podcast version of this show, you're going to not know what we're talking about because we're coming off of a commercial break, which means I have to explain what happened in the commercial break because you don't get the commercial breaks in the podcast, right? If you're listening live, you're going to know what I'm talking about, and that's why, just for the purpose of setting this up, I'm so glad I did this. I told Callow before the show, in this segment, I want to revisit the mug.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right? Fortunately for him, he put in a promo of Andy's show.
I didn't put it in. The logs are built the day before. It just happened to come up that way.
But his piece of his show discusses the mug,
That's right.
Which was your choice, correct?
Yes, I'm in charge of everything.
Good.
Now.
Good. That means I get to yell at you because you get to decide what goes in the promo.
I do, yeah.
The fact that it was there is a coincidence that we're talking about.
No, for real it was.
Right,
I didn't mean to do it
your
that way.
choice of which content from the Andy Pollin Hour goes into that promo, that's your choice to make.
That's correct.
And
yes.
your choice today was to go with the mug and the pipe or whatever that happened at FedEx Field.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does start off that promo by saying there was a lot of good things, but we're going to talk about some bad things.
We're going to talk about the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So,
what comments, concerns, questions?
Okay.
Do you have anything to say?
This is where I'm tired. Okay. I am more than willing, as you know, and I think can attest to, I will nitpick the crap out of this organization too.
Sure.
I am willing to do it. I am not against doing that. I do think, though, yesterday, or 2 days ago, when the game was played, that there are way, way, way too many storylines to focus on than the mug. That the mug was just a mistake. That it wasn't a big deal. It doesn't characterize literally anything. And to make that the promotable piece of what's going to happen on a show here or be the lead of a story in the Washington Post is just piling on to pile on. I don't even really understand how in the world Is that the thing everybody is thinking about? A day or two later. How is that what everybody's thinking about?
Didn't know I was going to have a production meeting with you on the air about this, but this is a new feature we have all day long.
Yes.
They're called ESPN 630 Quick Hits, 2-minute clips from your show.
I like them.
Tony and Andy.
Oh, I like it.
And
I'm not against the feature.
Yeah.
I love the feature.
Sure.
What goes in the feature is now going to make me angry if it's going to be Jason Wright didn't give a proper high five to somebody. That's what we're going to talk about.
Well, in this case, it's to incite a reaction sometimes, and
it
seemed to work on this one.
Or I think you also revel in the mistakes. Are you still in that space? This is my point. What I'm trying to get to. This is the epitome of the cycle of negativity, and this is the epitome of an example where I'll go, listen. If Congress is investigating them and all the issues that come out, that is, I believe, worth publicizing, worth talking about, worth focusing on. It is warts of the organization that need to be discussed. A stupid mug that was made in China, that had the wrong state on it and didn't have quality control, has literally nothing to do with anything. And I just can't believe after this offseason and that game, this is what you people are talking about. How are you still talking about this?
So, like I said, I didn't expect to have a production meeting with you on the air. So here's the main basis of it. These only run until Sunday, so they have to be something that's very niche, that is going to be topical.
Oh, so this will be going for 7 days.
Really, it's 5 days, because on Mondays we swap everything out. So
the mug will last on these airwaves for 5 days.
Until,
is what you're talking
until
about.
Sunday.
Okay.
All right.
Go on.
And it's because I'm not going to be rah-rah and skip over everything. I have 3 different viewpoints from you, Andy, and Tony.
My point is, though, how is the mug a viewpoint?
A lot of clicks, a lot of retweets, a lot of people talking about it.
Because people want to hate the team? Is that what it is? Is that what you're acknowledging right now? That you're looking, that people... I love Nikki. I really love Nikki. I think she does a really great job. I think she was so off leading the game recap from Sunday with the mug.
I'd agree with you on that.
I teach inverted pyramid, which is a style of writing that is universally used and universally done by any journalistic entity that you've read anything, which is the lead is the most important thing first, followed by the next most important thing, followed by that. In no world is the mug the lead of any story whatsoever off of that game. You could have chosen new era, new name. You could have chosen Carson Wentz. You could have chosen year 3. You could have chosen Jahan Dotson. You could have chosen dynamic offense. You could have chosen, boy, that defense came through late for them. The mug falls, should it be in the story? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it the first part?
Right.
Forget all that other stuff we focused on for 6 months. That mug pissed me off. Really?
I'd agree with you on that one. On that piece, yes. Agree.
Again, on the crest, I was the first to go, we need to talk about this. Guys. We need to get this right.
Yep.
A supply chain production mistake that wasn't done with quality control is not worthy of overlooking the 6 months of talking about Carson Wentz and his debut here. How is that the lead?
So, 2 different animals here. Yes, I agree with you on Nikki's game piece. That probably shouldn't be what you start with.
How did you end up there?
In our realm, it's still really funny, so I'm still going to use it. As assistant program director of ESPN 630.
Okay. So you would like to stay in the cycle of negativity a little bit. It's an admission of you kind of love to hate them a little bit.
No.
That's what you want.
It's
fine.
topical. I really am not topical. I'm not hating on them or loving it either way. It is something that happened over the weekend that people love to talk about.
I just saw a clip of a kid in a Bengals jersey at the game in a neck brace. Okay? And the headline was, the neck brace is the least of his problems, because behind him is an overweight man throwing up behind him. Okay? Just throwing, and I mean like multiple times. Throwing up. Okay? So, is that the lead of the Bengals' loss?
No, but it's funny.
Okay. On the pipe that was brought up with this thing, my toilet stopped up the other day too, okay? It doesn't mean my house is going to fall in a sinkhole. God. This stadium was built in the 90s now. It's not brand new, okay? There are things that are going to happen.
Sure.
Why do we have to... We can't focus on all the new things that happened in there. We have to focus on the one thing that went wrong. You know what? There's probably a couple bad hot dogs that were sold too. You want to go look for those? Maybe one of those kegs was a little skunky. I don't know. Let's go find it.
Really hit a nerve.
Was there a screw out of one of the seats? Did someone have to come with a screwdriver and fix it? Good Lord. I am more than willing to criticize the things worth criticizing. The mug is not one of them. It's dumb.
Didn't know you were going to be this sensitive about it.
Once I heard that I wasn't until I heard that promo and I went, you're part of that team. I can't believe it. You're part of that team too? Come on.
It's a current topic.
Current topic. It's yesterday's news. It was ridiculous in the moment.
Collector's items, man.
Oh, man.
Andy does start the promo off by saying there's a lot of good to talk about.
Yeah. But I don't have
things
time
went
for
well.
that. I've got to spend time on the mug.
That's right.
Holy cow.
Your version, which I'm sure you'll hear at some point, is very positive about how Carson Wentz doesn't suck.
I don't get the refute the mug story in the promo.
You don't get to refute, but I don't have refuting promos.
I think that's a good idea if you want to do the whole, like, let's get some action going in the station.
No, and if you must know, full curtain pull. Tony's is about how great the NFL slate was, and he talked about the mug in the middle of it, and I cut it out because it didn't quite fit into what he was talking about. So I could have gone actually more Muggate, but I decided not to because we already have one promo running talking about the mug, and I didn't need two.
When Jack Del Rio said what he said in the summer, we spent a long time talking about it, and I felt like we needed to criticize it. And then when Rivera reacted to it, we needed to talk about that. I'm not afraid of talking about their warts at all.
Yeah.
Like, at all. The mug was a stupid mistake.
It's still funny.
And after 6 months of, we need to win this year, we desperately wanted a quarterback badly, we got one that everyone says might be through, and overspent for him, etc. He might be, his confidence might be shaken, like they might have messed up. Irsay thinks he sucks. We bring him in, we trade down out of the spot that everybody wanted us to take the receiver that got taken in that spot. We get somebody else no one had heard of, All of a sudden, he's turned out to be okay. After all of that, the mug is the lead of the game.
It's also a preview.
Did you watch the game? Did you watch it?
It is also a preview of what you're going to get when you tune in with Andy.
Oh. This Coca-Cola I bought didn't have enough ice. That's my problem today, guys. What are you, shorting me on ice?
Andy doesn't drink soda. So.
Fine.
Just saying.
Infuriating. That one's infuriating.
Oh man, this is great. You just gave me a 15-minute promo on my promos.
That's infuriating. Why can't you understand that's infuriating?
It's not infuriating. It's a preview of what the show is.
That's his show?
Yeah.
I'm going to find something wrong and talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
That's
you
it?
got to listen this morning, man.
Find something wrong.
Had a field day with the Eagles lawsuit situation.
Yeah.
You both have different shows. You're allowed to talk about what you want.
Those people shouldn't have been where they were, and everybody knows that.
I don't disagree with you.
Right. If there was a mistake, it was the security guard shouldn't have let them get over there, but they shouldn't have been standing there. There's a sign that says, don't stand here.
I largely agree.
A sign.
I don't have a show to talk about
That sign's not big enough for me. It should say, don't. It should scream at you through a speaker, don't stand here, or you might fall. Holy cow. Holy cow, everybody.
You're more than welcome to produce promos if you want to help me
No,
out.
thanks.
Yeah, thanks. All right, cool.
Doesn't sound like I got much to pick from that might be positive. The grievance hour. Jeez.
That's a good concept.
It is a good one. Here's what I'm mad about today.
Airing of grievances.
Yeah. Yep.
Actually, Greenberg already does that. So.
Airing of the grievances. All right. Be right back. Brand Boys at Show ESPN 630 Sports Capital. Show ESPN 630 Sports Capital. Show ESPN 630 Sports Capital. Show ESPN